I felt a great sorrow due to the shocking gift from my mother-in-law, Susan. However, my husband, Tom, seems to be upset with me, oblivious to this. This is the worst. Open the envelope and look. What's inside? With a somewhat bothered expression, Tom opened the envelope to check its contents. And as he read, his face quickly clouded over. Gradually beginning to tremble, he must have finally realized the gravity of the situation. A story from Emily, a housewife in her 30s. I am living as a full-time housewife in a family of 3, recently. I gave birth to a daughter and am struggling with the unfamiliar task of parenting. Despite the lack of sleep, my daughter's charm rejuvenates me. One day, I heard the front door unlocking and hurried to greet my returning husband, who stood there with a smile. "Hi, Tom. How was your day today?" "Hi, Emily. Now, what's my little princess doing? She just fell asleep, so please don't wake her up." "I won't." Tom adores our daughter, Sarah, and rushes to her as soon as he returns home. Seeing his love for her warms my heart every day. Seeing Sarah's smile makes me feel energetic no matter how tired I am. It allows me to concentrate on work, and I don't want you two to feel uncomfortable. Sorry. I always rely on you even though you're tired. We're both tired. If there's anything I can do, just let me know anytime. Tom is passionate about household chores and parenting, supporting me constantly. Our marital life is going smoothly, and I feel happy every day. However, there's one significant issue: the relationship with Susan. It happened one day. Another gift from Susan. I sighed unconsciously whenever she sends a gift. She becomes upset if I don't express extreme joy and gratitude. Once, I didn't respond positively during a thank you call, upsetting her. "What? You don't like what I chose?" A daughter-in-law can be so troublesome. If you can't understand the value of a gift, isn't it because you were not well brought up? It was something I haven't used much. I'll ask Tom when he returns. Sorry. You don't know how to use it. Aren't you embarrassed to be a housewife who doesn't even know the basics of cooking? You're unfit to be Tom's wife. Maybe I should live with you and teach you. I was bombarded with harsh words during that long call, and I felt like screaming from the stress. I don't look forward to receiving packages from her. If I don't call to thank her, she makes sarcastic remarks. Is hearing my voice so unpleasant for you? Is this what you call mother-in-law bullying? Even though I'm being so kind, this is outrageous. It's not like that. She's just feeling a bit unwell. Don't exaggerate. When I was suffering from morning sickness and couldn't call her, I had a hard time. Since then, I decided to call her even on my worst days. Without checking the contents, I put the box in the fridge. Considering the size, it fit easily. While dealing with unfamiliar parenting tasks, I don't want additional stress from unpleasant conversations with my sarcastic mother-in-law. Not knowing what she might say if I don't call to thank her. Considering it was sent by the cold shipping, the gift is likely food. I plan to eat it soon and call to thank her by the next day at the latest. While thinking of words of gratitude for Susan, I returned to parenting. Despite feeling a bit pressured, Sarah's adorable gestures soothed my heart. Tom came home in a very good mood that night. "Hi, Emily." "Hi, Tom. You seem to be in a good mood today." I was soothing Sarah, so I approached the entrance while holding her. Tom reached out with a smile to hold her, but I took a step back. "Wait, you haven't washed your hands and gargled yet, have you?" "Oh, I forgot." "Wait a bit, okay." Tom, still cheerful, hurried to the washroom and quickly returned. Seeing his expectant smile, I handed Sarah to him. Initially, he was a little awkward holding her, but now he's become a proficient father. She's getting cuter by the day. I totally agree. While Tom was entertaining Sarah, I was able to quickly finish preparing dinner and face him. Sarah seemed to have drifted off to sleep on the bed as Tom played with her. During dinner, I informed Tom about a package we received from his mother. "Did Mom send a birth gift? What's inside?" "I haven't checked yet. It arrived via the cold shipping, so I think it's food. Can you open it?" You haven't checked." It would have been okay to open it even if I wasn't here. But since it's addressed to you, I thought maybe it would be inappropriate if you weren't the one to open it. You're too serious. Let's open it after I take a shower, okay? Can you wait until then? After finishing his meal, Tom headed for the shower room. Once he left, I let out an unintentional sigh. Susan subtly mistreats me every time. It may seem minor to Tom, but I'm at the end of my patience. Even though the package label reads birth gift, it's addressed to Tom. Normally, such gifts would be addressed to the one who gave birth. The difference with my family makes me ponder. Since dating Tom, Susan has always thrown veiled insults at me. To be honest, I never liked her. Therefore, I wasn't keen on receiving gifts from her. Let's open this. I wonder what's inside. After exiting the shower room, Tom immediately began opening the box from the refrigerator. The box itself was small enough to fit inside, but its contents were still unknown. He eagerly opened the box, but I felt increasingly burdened. I started cleaning up after dinner, trying to put the gift out of my mind. "Wow, this is amazing!" After a short pause, his excited shout echoed through the living room. Surprised, I almost dropped a plate I had just washed. "Can you lower your voice a bit? She just went to sleep." "I'm so sorry, I got it." He seemed to calm down, but his voice was still full of joy. What was inside? It was Wagyu beef. Wagyu. Let's have sukiyaki tomorrow after a long time. Yeah, Wagyu. She sent something so expensive again. Given the luxurious gift, I now have to call her to express gratitude. Just thinking about thanking her depresses me. However, Tom doesn't understand how I feel. He's over the moon, oblivious to my turmoil. If you're too tired from child rearing, I can cook. Just prepare the ingredients for me. Maybe I should take care of it. Then it's settled. Sukiyaki for tomorrow. Tom volunteered to make sukiyaki, so I decided to accept his offer. As I did the dishes, I watched my giddy husband. Ever since we were newlyweds, he has always been very cooperative with housework. Having lived alone for a long time, he was good at cooking. Moreover, the dishes he made suited my taste. Even after our child was born, he has always actively helped with childcare, making bedtime a smooth process. Peeking into the cardboard box he opened, it was packed with what looked like premium, large cuts of beef. It was clearly a high-quality Wagyu beef from a renowned store, probably worth around $500. I've never had such luxurious Wagyu, even when I lived at my parents' house. I couldn't discern whether it was a bragging gesture or a passive-aggressive message. But Tom was thrilled. Look at this amazing Wagyu. It's layered in 3 tiers. Yes, I see. But don't get too excited. The box he handed me was surprisingly heavy, and my mood sank as well. When I tried to take out the meat, I noticed an envelope squeezed in between. Is there something else inside? An envelope. Maybe it's a monetary gift for the birth. You decide how to use it. I found it hard to believe Susan would send more, especially given the pricey Wagyu. Still, a part of me hoped that it might be a monetary gift. Before giving birth, I worked. Now, I rely on Tom's income. Although we cut costs and save, I don't have the luxury to buy whatever I want. If the envelope contains a monetary gift, I can buy new clothes and toys for Sarah, while we receive toys and clothes from my family. I also want to choose them based on my preferences. With anticipation, I opened the envelope and was shocked by its contents. Overwhelmed, I tossed the Wagyu and the envelope into the trash. Tom was surprised by my actions and seemed confused. After a while, he understood the situation and was visibly angry. "What have you done? Why did you do that?" He walked past me and hurriedly began retrieving the envelope and meat from the trash. However, the meat, now mixed with garbage, was likely inedible. I could only cry and didn't respond to his questions. He continued yelling, reminiscent of Susan's complaints. I couldn't hear his accusing words over my sobs. He seemed furious that I had wasted the meat and the kind gesture from his mother. "Why would you do that? You've ruined Mom's special gift." The word gift made my heart tighten, and I couldn't stop crying. Perhaps from crying too much, I started to feel a headache. It's not right to trample on Mom's feelings like that. Call her and apologize right now. I have no reason to apologize. Although he yelled at me in his anger, I firmly talked back, tears streaming down. Surprised by my rebuttal, he fell silent. "Did you check everything? Only saw the meat? Was there something else besides the meat?" I was furious that he only noticed the Wagyu and overlooked the shocking content of the envelope. It was clear that he had no idea about the devastating gift from Susan and was just angry at me. This is the worst. Open the envelope and see. What's inside it? He picked up the envelope that had fallen to the floor and checked its contents. Then, reading it, Tom's expression quickly clouded over. It seems he slowly began to recognize the gravity of the situation as his body started to tremble. Tom bowed his head in apology and spoke words of remorse to me. "I'm truly sorry. I thought the contents were money given as a congratulation for the birth. Your mother really has a way of making nasty remarks. It's too much. It's just too sad." Inside the envelope sent by Susan, there was a note with only a few words written. I will not acknowledge you as a daughter-in-law until you give birth to a boy. It's because you don't eat properly that you gave birth to a girl. At least, please feed my son properly. This is unbelievable. Such harsh words. This is far from a congratulatory message. It's not normal. Calm down. There must be some reason. There's no way there can be a reason for this. This is criticism directed at me. And saying such things as girls is too harsh. It's the worst kind of language. Susan was, as usual, imposing her harsh views, pressuring me to give birth to a boy instead of celebrating the birth. Sarah is very lovely, and it felt as if she was being deemed as inadequate. Perhaps, by sending it as a cold package. She expected me to open it first, and intended for the letter to catch my eyes. I can't believe she not only denies me, but our child as well. I couldn't lift my face for a while as tears overflowed. I was so devastated I couldn't move, and while Tom seemed perplexed, there was anger in his eyes. I'm going to call Mom now. Tom moved to another room and began to call Susan. Susan is usually assertive towards me, but she's weak against her son. She probably didn't expect Tom to read the letter. And although she seems to deny our daughter, Tom truly loves her. He probably feels uncomfortable with Sarah being denied. Even though Tom moved to another room, his voice, filled with anger, resonated in the living room. The phone conversation dragged on, and he didn't return to the room for quite some time. Susan was probably making excuses, but Tom's anger showed no signs of abating. Tom eventually returned to the living room. His face was filled with anger, and there was no sign of his agitation subsiding. According to Tom, Susan said, I didn't mean any harm. I wrote it to cheer you on, but that seemed like a far-fetched excuse. I knew that your mother didn't think highly of me, but I didn't imagine it would be to this extent. I was utterly disappointed. I had hoped that having a grandchild might improve the relationship with Susan, but that hope had now vanished. If the relationship with her continued like this, I thought it would affect Sarah. Sarah really is pitiable, unable to receive congratulations at such a special time. Thinking of our daughter, tears spilled again. Seeing me like this, even Tom was feeling angry at his mother. I've told Mom clearly, from now on, even if packages arrive, you don't have to receive them. I won't allow her to belittle our daughter. Probably, Tom had given his mother a piece of his mind. Even if I lose everything, I intend to protect you both, so don't worry. Tom was exploding with anger in front of me. My tears stopped at his words. If something happens again, I'll take Sarah and return to my parents' home. It's all right. I'll keep a close watch. My heart was really heavy, especially when Tom is away for work. The fear that Susan might come haunts me. Considering the possibility of Susan visiting during his absence, I voiced my concern. Isn't it possible that Susan might come when you're not around? Make sure she doesn't enter the house. Contact me immediately, even if I'm at work. Without even asking Tom, I had no intention of letting Susan into our home. However, I felt it necessary to confirm this, fearing she might have some tricks up her sleeve. If we're going to be harmed, there's no point in being with you. So please be diligent about this. Exhausted from crying, I headed to the bedroom. In the room where Sarah was sleeping, I embraced her and fell asleep. After that, we received no packages from Susan. Although she visited our home several times, I completely ignored her. It seems she tried to communicate with me through my parents, but they were furious when they learned of the situation and had no intention of interacting with her again. They too were deeply fond of their granddaughter and couldn't forgive Susan's mockery. Susan called Tom, but he hung up as soon as she brought up our daughter. My smartphone occasionally received messages from her, but I ignored them all. To protect Sarah, I resolved to avoid contact with Susan entirely. I wasn't willing to waste precious time on such an unreasonable person. As a mother, I am strong. Perhaps if she came to apologize sincerely, I might reconsider. But it seems unlikely given her continuous complaints. She's bound for a lonely and desolate old age, I thought bitterly.